Welcome everyone. My name is John Rinaldi. I'm a Principal Product Manager focusing on Oracle Field Service. And I'm really excited to be here today. And I'm going to be your host for our Customer Spotlight program featuring Worcester Bosch Thermotechnology. Now, Worcester Bosch Thermotechnology has a stellar reputation with their customers, praising both its products and services for being the best on the market. But they ran into some slow and convoluted processes that prevented them from serving customers and addressing issues quickly and efficiently. So by embracing Oracle Field Service, Worcester Bosch has been able to constantly meet its brand promise by empowering service resources to serve customers more quickly, more efficiently, and more effectively. And today you're going to learn firsthand how they were able to increase repairs per day by 25% per technician, reduce their travel times and overall carbon footprint, and how they were able to tackle change management head-on by embracing Oracle University training, and how they were able to quickly and easily adapt and evolve their service strategies in light of COVID-19. Now, before I introduce our guest of honor, we have a poll. All right, what are your current business priorities? Is it reducing costs, ensuring business continuity, keeping employees and customers informed, moving to a digital-first strategy, improving the customer experience, or investing in a field service management solution that is agile to meet changes in real time? And we'll give you some time to fill that out and we'll take a look at the results. All right, populating the results. Improving the customer experience. That is the number one choice. 75% voted for that. So that's really important. And I think, during our conversation, you'll learn more about how Worcester Bosch is helping improve the customer experience and hopefully how it can help leverage it for your business as well. All right, let's go ahead. I'm super excited to introduce to you today Sven, Service Optimization Manager at Worcester Bosch Thermotechnology. And he's here to tell you all about what their company's doing, how they've leveraged Oracle Field Service to improve their overall business, where they're headed, and share a few lessons that they've learned along the way. So Sven, welcome, sir.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm okay, my friend, I'm okay.
Good, good. Thanks again for joining. So listen, I've had the privilege of getting to know you and the work that you and your team have been doing with Oracle Field Service, but before we dive in, can you tell us a little bit about your journey? I know that you were in the Royal Air Force, so I'm curious to know, how did you go from serving in the military to come to work for Worcester Bosch?
Yeah, so I left the Royal Air Force after 10 years in 2000. Started working in semiconductors as a design engineer, designing machines that made microchips. And then after that, I thought I'd have a crack at going on my own and being my own boss. And after 2 years, realized that I was a rubbish guy for running a company. Got into PCB manufacturing and was working there as a test development manager. And then after that, I moved to Bosch in 2011. So an opportunity came up for me to work as an R&D engineer in the Netherlands. So we packed up, shipped out and moved over there for a few years, and then came back to the UK where I took over as the engineering manager in the manufacturing department. And then 2017, I shot out to a place called Claycross up in the north of England and took over as operations manager there. And then in 2019, they asked me to come in and fix OFSC because it was broken.
Interesting.
The interesting thing is they wanted me to fix something that was already fixed. They just didn't know how to do it.
Well, that's quite a journey, I have to say. And listen, I can't tell you how happy I am that your journey has led you here today to be talking about this, because I think it's a very important topic. So I think we'll just go ahead and dive right in. And can you just tell us a little bit about what makes Worcester Bosch Thermotechnology unique?
Yes, certainly. So we are the #1 supplier of heating and hot water products used in the UK. So you wake up in the morning and turn the shower on, there's a good chance it's a Worcester Bosch. And we have a real clear strategy. It's called fit and forget. Put it on the wall and forget it's there. So you get in the shower, you get hot water. When it gets cold in the house, then the heating comes on. And if it doesn't, it will by tomorrow night because we'll be there to fix it.
Yeah, and that's really important, right? And I think it's safe to say really that your customers are going to expect more from your products in both performance and service. And that's even more important now as customer expectations start to rise. So really, what does customer experience and customer service mean to your team and to Worcester Bosch?
Well, it's everything. The quality of our products is, without question, at the very core of our base values. And we really believe that if our products are working well, then the customers can just ignore them. So but when they do go wrong, that's where we come in. And we absolutely will make sure that the customer expectations of the highest order can be met every single time.
Yeah, and I would say that, if and when those events do happen, a lot of this is depending on the field service side of the business, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they're our ambassadors. When a Bosch service engineer comes to the house, they've got the Bosch brand logo on their van, on their shirt. They've got this big Bosch brand logo on the van there, and they are there to help. And generally, our customers are in a position where they're upset, they're not happy, they've got no hot water. So when our service engineer leaves, they're warm, they're snuggly, they've got their hot water back. And that's such an important ambassadorial position for our service engineers in the field.
Yeah, and Sven, I think it's interesting because, when it comes to field service, a lot of times your field service representatives, the people with the boots on the ground, are really the only face-to-face interaction that your company is going to have with the customer. And so ensuring that those experiences are positive are essential. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. People have spent a lot of money on our products and they want it to work. And if you can imagine the situation where it's getting cold outside, they turn the heating on, they've got a young kid or they've got an elderly relative staying and there's no heating, we've got to be there. We've got to get that fixed. And our promise to the customer is, if it's not working, we'll get there today. Worst case, we'll get there till tomorrow. And we want a professional guy to turn up with all the skills, all the tools, everything they need to leave the customer in a happy place.
I love to hear it. I love to hear it. Music to my ears. And it's safe to say you are in the field service business. So can you just tell us a little bit about the challenges that you had that led up to your team to start looking for a new field service management solution?
Yeah, of course I can. Yeah. So we had a system. It was getting on for sort of 10 years old. It was it was old. It was clunky. It was resource intensive. It was no longer supported by the company we bought it from, although it served us really, really well. So we started looking out into the world and saying, so what else is out there? What can we get for ourselves? But we set out a very clear set of guidelines and requirements engineering as to what it is we want this product to do. And we had a look around the marketplace and there are plenty out there. But OFS was the one we went for in the end.
Yeah, and so it's very common, right? You have a solution and it's working, but sometimes you just outgrow it, or you need to move on, and that's totally understandable. And so you ended up landing on Oracle Field Service to handle that scheduling of your mobile resources, as well as provide the tools for your teams out in the field. So can you just tell us a few of the main reasons why you decided, or you ended up going with Oracle Field Service?
Yeah, it's really quite a simple journey, really. First of all, functionality. What can this do that other products can't do? Okay. Does it give us what we want at point of use? Have we got a mobile app that seamlessly ties into the back office? Can we look after this system ourselves, or do we need a huge pile of technicians and engineers in the background looking after it? And on that point, we administer it ourselves. So we don't have to call out to our CI department or our IT department and say, hey, this isn't working, can you fix it for us? We look after it with ourselves. And that ability to update and that ability to make it do what we wanted to do was one of the big things. And also, it's the ease of use. The dispatch console GUI, fabulous. If you want to manage your resources in the field, dead easy. Okay, you've got to learn how to do it, but you've got to learn any software. Look what happens when Microsoft changes Excel. You've got to learn it again. But at the end of the day, you've got to learn to use it. And once you've learned to use it, it's an absolute dream.
Awesome. Again, love to hear it. So listen, the team decided with Oracle Field Service, and listen, there's a honeymoon phase to it, but at the end of the day, you had to start deploying the solution and rolling it out. So can you just talk to us about some of those key challenges that you had during the deployment and the rollout of Oracle Field Service?
Certainly can. So it wasn't an easy journey. Let's be absolutely clear and honest here. Although our big OFS app anytime, we didn't make our life easy. We changed our SAP CRM system at exactly the same time. And we've got this fantastic tool. We had an excellent implementation partner in Leedent. They were brilliant. They gave us what we asked for. One of the problems was, we didn't actually know what we wanted. We had enough rough idea. We had this previous software, so make it do that, please. And my gosh, one of the biggest challenges we had with the people, the change management side of the implementation, I reckon was way tougher than anything else, because people were used to the old software. This software does what we want. This new software is different. We don't like it. Well, now you're going to have to change, guys. What? Change? No. But we got them through it in the end, to a much happier place.
Yeah, and you know what? Of all the things you mentioned, we hear this a lot. One of the biggest challenges, if not the biggest challenge, when introducing a new software solution is change management. So I just love to hear from you and tell us how you and your team got over that hurdle of change management.
It's really, really simple. You sit down with people and ask them the question, why don't you like it? And then you let them shout at you and throw temper tantrums and get upset and storm out of the room, because that's what people do. People don't like change. But you know, if you just let them get that off their chest and let them say, I'm not happy, and understand, why aren't you happy? Tell me what's wrong with today. And that question gets asked at the end of every single day, as it has done for 18 months. Tell me what's gone wrong today, and I'll promise you I'll fix it. And second of all, if you give someone a new toy, teach them how to use it. So training, training, training. And the last thing, and the most important thing, I think, is mistakes are going to happen. Make them part of the day. Don't be frightened of mistakes, okay? Failure is a good thing because you can learn from it.
Yeah, and in regards to training, I understand you leveraged Oracle University for your training, helping you understand.
Yeah. Yeah, as part of the implementation, we were given access to the Oracle University. Sorry, our IT department were given access to the Oracle University, and they hung on to it like it was some strange thing that no one should have. When I came into the department, I said, hey guys, where's the training package? And they were like, training package? What training package? Okay. So after quite a lot of work and effort, I got a hold of this training package and said to my boss, I'll see you in a week's time, mate. I'm off home to go to the training. Came back in, I'd been trained, I got myself certified, and then I said to my systems guys, right, you're taking a week off work and you're going to go and do this training. Don't come in, no emails, no nothing, get on with it. And then I said to my team leaders, you're going home and you're going to do this training. And you're not coming in, don't do emails. They came back, and a team of 4 people that beforehand were browbeaten and beaten up and told how rubbish they were, sat there and went, no, we know how this system works now. I'm certified. I can do this. And it was their role then to train the teams underneath them. So going from we've had nothing at all to we've got 20 trained people took about 6 weeks. And wow, what a difference that made.
You know, Sven, I cannot tell you how great that is to hear. You know, your team leveraged the great content that our training team has put together, and I know they're going to love to hear that. Not only help to understand your solution, but really help to improve your overall business. You know, I think it's important for everyone listening today. If you're interested, you can leverage this training content to really help make your company shine. All right, so you got the team trained up. You're comfortable with the solution. Can you just talk a little bit about that journey? How you really started to leverage Oracle Field Service to automate and optimize and schedule your mobile workforce?
Yeah, so we started off by looking at what it is wasn't working for us. And we looked at 2 main things, call rate and travel time. And what looks after that? The routing plans. So we were told at first, don't touch the routing plans. Routing plans are sacred, must leave them alone, never go in there. Well, do you know something? I broke them about 8 times the first, 8, 9 times before we got them right. And I took no end of grief and hassle off my senior management because call rate was going down, travel time was going up, but we were learning every day. And gosh, once we got that working and we started to see a little bit, and then all of a sudden, a massive jump happened because we got it right. And it took no end of effort. But once we got there, gosh, call rate shot up, travel dropped down. People in the office were happy because they were like, yeah, we're hitting targets. Guys in the field were happy because they had really good travel. They were going to more jobs. And at the end of the day, we got our response even better for our customers. So instead of waiting till 2 days away, it's 1 day away, and then the same day. And we've even got a case where a customer rang us up saying, my heating's not working. The service engineer was on his doorstep 27 minutes later. Okay, that was a rarity, but we did it.
That's impressive. That's really impressive. And you know, I think it's important, you know, as your team started to learn it and as you started tweaking things, right? You started to understand the kind of the uniqueness of that technology, that time-based self-learning and predictive technology. So it sounds to me, and I think you're going to be able to confirm this, but you were able to meet and exceed your schedule and expectations once you got that down.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It took us a while, and it took a lot of. We go back to the change management topic. Took a lot of effort to convince not just the team, but my management team, the guys in the field. We can do this, and more importantly, how about you tell us what you want? How about you tell us what's missing from your day? So all of our service engineers have got the mobile app, and they were like, "Well, we'd like to be able to send in some feedback." Okay, we created a feedback form. That form comes in, it's action. They get an email saying, "Thanks for that, we're going to do this." They wanted to tell us if their van was broken or they were having problems with a particular tool. That all comes in now through OFS. So the best thing is they asked the request, we've got it ready in 2 days. We can deploy it within a week. So from request being made, I'd like to see this, to actually happening is so seamless. We've got a team of guys that are fabulously clever and they just switch onto it and make it happen.
Yeah, no, and that's a great point too. Thank you. So, you know, you've previously mentioned in some conversations that we've had that you've leveraged automation to also help your team. So, and you know, we all know how automation can help specific customer requirements, but also can help overall business processes, you know, on the back end. Can you just share with us a little bit about how Oracle has helped you automate your teams out in the field?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that you get with Oracle is this ability to stop and start jobs. So the engineer gets to the person's house, they start the job, they leave, they press stop on their app. And that works about 80% of the time because the engineer's in a rush, or is they're thinking about picking up the kids from school, or they've come out and they've got a problem with the van, etc. So what we said to them is, okay, what we can do is we can take your van tracker, we'll use an API to draw that information in, we'll then run that into Oracle to say start the job, and then when the van moves, they stop the job. So we've taken extra stress off the guys in the field, and we've got really accurate job times and travel times for the guys in the field, all done through the API system. Now, it took us no end of conversations to try and get this data sorted out. Now it just happens seamlessly. But more importantly, if an engineer has a problem, it flags up that he's not where he should be. And we had a real serious incident recently where a guy actually had a stroke in the van. And the van tracker said he's not where he should be. We were able to locate him, get to him, get into hospital, and now he's in recovery. And that's all down to the fact that we were using an API to see where these guys are.
That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. And you know what's interesting is that you know you talk about that, right? You know, a lot of people get, I don't know if upset is the right word, but you know they think Big Brother is watching, right? But this is a very clear-cut example of how it can actually save lives by tracking.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We were able to get to that guy real quick and get him the help he needed. Now, we got the comments of, oh, Big Brother's watching us. But here's the thing. You're in a works van. You're doing a job of work. You're solo working. If we can't help you out when you're having a problem, how rubbish is your day going to be? We're not here to snoop on you. We're not here to check up on you. We're here to make sure we can give you all the support you need. And if that little exclamation mark on the screen comes up, it means we've got to be getting hold of you and saying, hey, what's up? Is there a problem? They could have had a really difficult customer or a really difficult job they've been to, and they couldn't fix the problem. We can get you that extra help. We can find the nearest engineer to you and get him over to you. Maybe you haven't got the right part. We'll get that sent out to you.
Yeah. No, it's incredible to hear. It really is. And actually, let's talk about the mobile workforce. You did mention about how they're able to provide feedback and you can push those changes out very quickly and rapidly. So can you just talk a little bit more about how the adoption has been for your mobile resources in regards to Oracle Field Service Mobility?
Yeah, certainly can. So here's the thing. And again, when you first release a new piece of software to 350 plus people, you've got to show them how to use it. So at first, it was hard work. Let's not make any mistake here, yeah? We had teams of guys going around, sitting with the engineers saying, right, this is how you do your work now. No, I've got a laptop. I don't want to use a Mac app. Okay, why don't you want to use the app? Well, it's rubbish, it's not any good. You don't know that because we haven't tried it. And it's every single day. How can we make it better? How can we make it better? And you know something? Once we started delivering the tiles that they can then use, it made it easier for them. Once we took away that faff of start and stop, it's made it better for them. And we also had to get the guys in the field ready for this change management topic. I go over it again and again and again because it's so important. And once we find out what it is you need from the app, what functionality is missing for you, once we gave it to them, they were sold. And we generally went for the loudest guys first, the guys with the biggest bone between their teeth. And we don't like this. Okay, we'll make you happy. We make you happy, you'll make everybody else happy because we've given you something they don't have. Give the guy a fish, give the guy a net, he can catch his own fish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's a testament to the solution. We're constantly trying to improve on our mobility, make it as user-friendly as possible, make sure that your resources can get there within 1 or 2 clicks or taps within the solution. So when we talk about the mobile resources, would you say that they have the tools that they need to get the job done right, all within field service mobility?
Oh, absolutely. Start with where's my tech, okay? The customers know when we're coming. The customer knows who's coming. The customer knows when they're going to get there, okay? So straight away, we've got a happy customer. Okay, with COVID, there's a 30-minute ring ahead. So every customer we go to, we ring ahead and say, look, we're coming. There's some social distancing rules here. There's some certain things we're going to need you to do. We can give the engineers any information they need on their tiles, okay? That tiles gives them T's and C's the customer's got, manuals they might want to refer to, latest technical updates, all of that available on an app that's really easy to get hold of. And really, we can do it ourselves. That's one of the biggest things. One of the guys asks for something, it arrives. They may never use it. It may have been a waste of time. No one ever wants to use that particular tile. Okay, ditch it and we'll go again. And that's really the trick here. Fear of failure is not a reason not to do something. And the more we can make it happen for them, the better it is for the guys in the field.
Right, right. And, I think you've done a good job of laying it out, how easy it is to push those changes out to your field and out to the field and to your customers as well. So let's actually, and you mentioned COVID, so this is actually a really good transition, talking about the flexibility of the solution. We're currently living in some pretty unique times, right? With the COVID situation and that unexpected reality that everyone really had to start working from home overnight. How important was it to have a solution like Oracle Field Service during a transition like that?
Oh, it was amazingly important. I think you got a slide there, John. So just for the audience then, this is just a basic slide of how the coronavirus cases across the UK happened over a timeline. And you can see there back in March then, we started seeing that COVID was going to be a problem. So we said, do you know something? It's time to work from home. So we take 20 guys, they've got a laptop, we say, right, tomorrow morning you log in from home and you work from home. Now the management of that was just something horrible. But do you know something? They were able to do it. So 20 people picked up their laptops, went home, started working from home. We've got the Collab tool. We've got, we use Skype inside Bosch, but we've got Teams as well. And you know something? Everybody could work from home. And then, unfortunately, the UK lockdown started. And then the only people we were talking to were our work colleagues because we weren't allowed out. We weren't allowed to go and see anyone. A few days later, half the team were put on furlough. Half the team were taken away from us. So we've got 20 people's work, but only 10 to do it. So rapidly, we had to find a way of automating things to make it easier for the guys. And that's when we automated our routing plans. So 20 guys work, 10 guys can do it, no stress, no hassle. We just made it happen. And then as we move forward then, the COVID cases start coming down. We were able to automate the stop-start I talked about. And then as you can see there in June, the team starts to return to work remotely. And if we can go to the next slide, you can see what that looks like. So you've asked people to go away from the office and start working from home. And strangely enough, people have got lives that aren't office-based. So Cleo there was looking after Lisa's laptop. We had Lizzie with the toilet rolls that she'd hoarded from the shops. We had someone working in their kitchen. We've got Pebbles there with Helen. She was working. We've got Claire working just beneath her boiler. We've got Georgia there. She's working from a desk that she's put up in her bedroom. But every one of them were working with OFSC as if they were in the office. And that's the beauty of the cloud-based solution. If you can log on to the internet, you can work. And the biggest win for us by a mile, was the fact that OFS was able just to work from wherever you are.
Yeah, it's incredible, an incredible story. And thank you for those pictures. Love the cats, all absolutely incredible. So let's just talk a little let's just talk a little bit about how, and as those things closed down and, as, new social distance requirements became essential, those changes had to happen pretty quickly. So how did that impact your KPIs?
Oh man, it was unbelievable. If we take a look at the slide here, so you can see then week 15, then lockdown happens, and as a business we decided, something, we're only going to send our engineers to houses where the products are off. Okay, we're not going to go to noisy boilers. We're not going to do any servicing. We are going to slow down and protect our engineers in the field. Okay, it was a strategic decision we made as a management team, and also the guys in the field, they were nervous. This new COVID thing was unknown, and we were seeing death rates going up and up and up, and we're going to look after our guys in the field. So if you follow the green line, you can see the jobs we were doing just fell off the scale. So down to less than 2,000 jobs a day, and it was just like, wow, what's happened here? And as we go along, if we follow the yellow line, you can see that our call rate dropped with it. Now, that's not okay, because if we're not getting to our customers, something's not right, something's gone wrong. So you can see there where we automated the routing. And straight away, we saw a result there where the call rate starts to climb. And in a typical S-curve fashion, it then started to drop off a little bit because, things are changing. And that's when we automated the stop-start. And instantly, again, our KPIs on call rate went straight back up. And you'll see there the restart in the UK. So this is where the UK government said, okay, folks, it looks like we've got it under control. It looks like we've nipped this in the bud and we've got it. What we're going to start doing is going back to work. So as a strategic management team, we said, okay, we'll start going out to some of these boilers that have been fault product off, or noisy, or there's a little problem there. We'll start servicing. And then you can see there, we bring back the engineers, we start going back to the way it was, and the number of jobs we get starts to come back up. But we could see the trends in OFS, and we could see through the forecasting module and from the API data that we were pulling out, we've got to maintain this new call rate. So as you can see, our call rate remains flat, but our jobs go up. So that tells us then we can bring back engineers from their furlough situation. And that's all because the data is so very, very live and so very, very usable, allowing us to see what we're doing.
Yeah, and that's actually incredible. The fact that you're diving into that data like that is really, really awesome. And as things start to open back up, how confident do you feel that you're going to be able to meet and exceed the surge in those service requests?
It's really interesting. We've got an order book that's really, really huge right now. And what we can do is we say, right, how much capacity in the capacity categories do we put in? So again, we've got an API pulling out the data. We can look at it and we change those capacity categories by individual area on a daily basis. Okay. And because everything else is automated, that resource that was sitting there, rolling on, rolling off, manually doing things, we've had to retrain them to say, right, look at the quota and make sure that we're squeezing the very last limits out of the way we do things. We've changed our routing strategy. Again, this week we changed the way we do things so we can get those last little bits of white space filled up. Because something, if a customer's paid for a service, we're duty bound to get there. If a customer's got no hot water, and in the United Kingdom right now, that temperature's going down and we're starting to see that happening. And the last but really interesting thing is our customers don't go to the office anymore. Our families are staying at home. So if a customer who normally sits at home and doesn't turn the heating on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon because it's got a bit chilly, they wouldn't know there was a problem. But right now they're sat in the house next to their radiators. So if their heating's not working, they're on the phone, and we've got to get there because they're sat in a cold house 24/7. So there's even more pressure on us to get out to our customers and make their day great.
Absolutely. It's actually really inspiring. I'm not going to lie. You guys are doing a great job. And the fact that you're leveraging Oracle Field Service in such an amazing way, it's really awesome. And I have to say, this has been really amazing. Just your positive attitude towards learning And managing a mobile workforce is really something that I hope everyone can aspire to. Now, if you had one takeaway that you could leave everyone with and how they could apply it to their own business, what do you think that would be?
Be ready to fail. Take it on, use it, make it happen. Think about what it is you want that system to do, because I can guarantee you, you can get Oracle to do it. But really, don't be scared of failure, because that's where the dragons lie. Okay, accept failure as part of your daily life, and you'll make stuff happen. It's really easy to stick a knife in someone and say, "Oh, you're doing your job wrong. You're doing your job wrong." No, they're doing their job to learn, and if you can accept that, then you're going to win. You're going to win hands down. It'll be a rocky road and it won't be easy. But if you can get to the other side of that change curve, you're going to win.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's good advice. Now, listen, before I turn it over to the audience, and I'm going to encourage everyone here today to participate and ask questions in the Q&A, but I wouldn't forgive myself in front of a live audience. You've mentioned that OFS is a joy to play with, and I think it's a very powerful message. Can you tell the audience just your thoughts behind that?
Yeah, definitely. If an engineer rings up and says, this thing is not working, and then another engineer up and says, this thing isn't working, by the end of the week, I can guarantee you it is. And you've just made 2 engineers, 3 engineers, 10 engineers day. Okay. If you suddenly have a problem like COVID, you can easily say, do you know something? It's not going to matter to us. I can look after my team. I can make them still feel great. I can make sure they've still got a job, because we don't have to lay them off, because they can work from home. We sent office chairs home. We've sent monitors home. We've sent back supports home. We've arranged for entire desks to go home, just so that they can work in a comfortable and safe environment. But the core thing, the thing they're touching all the time, is Oracle. And because that works so well anywhere, then you're on a winner every single day.
Love to hear it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So now, before we get into the Q&A, we've got one more poll. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Where would you say you're at in your digital transformation process? Is it having previously done it? You're doing it now? You plan to within the next 2 years? You plan to within the next 3 to 5 years? Or you're not sure if you ever will? And we'll give you some time to fill that out. All right, let's wait. Doing it now. The majority of people, 63%, are doing it now. That is, and then the rest are planning to do it within the next 2 years. That's really, really amazing. And thank you for participating. I think the silver lining here, Sven, is that of the COVID situation, it's forced a lot of companies to take a hard look at their processes and the solutions that they're using and start moving towards a digital transformation. So I think that's positive, and that's very good news. Looking at that.
Yeah, really. I think the fact that we were ready when it happened, I say ready, we had the tools to make working from home remotely happen. That's not saying it was an easy journey. And we learned a lot along the way. But I think the fact that now the world has changed and will continue to change, but this is such a paradigm shift in the way we will work from now on. And I've got guys in my team saying, we're not going back to the office, are we? Because this is better. I'm like, guys, if it's working, it's working. I'm not going to ask you to come back.
Yeah. And that's how it should be, right? Don't change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. All right, Sven. So listen, we've come to the Q&A portion of it, and it looks like we've got some questions from the audience. We're going to try to get to them all, but let's take a look here. Okay, let's click on Q&A. All right, first one here is, what would you say that your biggest key to success is?
Training. Absolutely pivotal. Leverage the training that's available, and also get along to some of the events that Oracle hold. Yeah, meet other customers, set up working groups, and understand what other companies are doing. We've worked with city councils, we've worked with water companies, just to say, hey, what is it you do with Oracle that's great? And getting that network set up has been absolutely key. So we're often rung by people saying, oh, you've got Oracle, can you tell us how best to use it? Yeah, of course we can. Now, you don't have to share company information. I'm not going to tell you all our secrets, but I am going to tell you how to use Oracle the best way possible. It gives me a chance to show off, and I'm sure everyone can see showing off is my thing. But also, the more people using it, the more we can learn from each other together.
Absolutely. Agree. It's a community. It really is truly a community.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think you kind of answered this in the first one, but I'm going to ask you to you anyways. And I think I might know the answer, but I could be wrong. You know, what would be advice for people who want to get the most out of Oracle Field Service?
Oh, definitely. Think about what you want and go for it. There is nothing you can't do with Oracle. Okay, you've just got to look to the horizon and say, what is it we want to get to? Um, Definitely take the best planners you've got and get them trained in the university. Then take them away from planning and put them in a systems team. That way, you've got your best planners, your best people with the best software. They can do anything you want. And then wind them up and let them go. Just get on with it and go for it.
Yeah.
Certainly, Lisa Keane. I know you know Lisa quite well. She was a planner. She was a brilliant planner. We took her out of her comfort zone and said, right, you're now going to look after the system. And the look of fear on her face the first day I asked her to do it was quite phenomenal. And she won't thank me for this, but we had a right battle with her. Today, she is an abject expert, and I'll big her up 1,000 times because she can do stuff with OFSC that I've got no idea how she's doing it. And she works for us. It's great.
Lisa, the super user. Good job, Lisa. All right. So what we got two more actually.
Excellent.
Oh no, we got people coming in. All right. So let's go to this one. All right. So, you know, first, thank you for sharing your experience with Oracle. Yes, I agree. Thank you. What was it? What was the key choice to choose Oracle instead of other solutions that you compared when you were shopping around?
So it comes down to that one thing of administration. Okay, we want the ability to look after the system ourselves. Okay, it's very, very easy when you buy a new software package to say to the IT department, here, you look after that. They're the user department. And we were like, well, no, we don't want that. That's not a solution that works for us. Our IT department is in Germany, it's in France, it's in Belgium. We don't have it local to Worcester. So we wanted the ability to look after the system ourselves. And the joy with OFS is that you can do everything yourself. There's a great interface for when stuff goes wrong, because stuff goes wrong. And the response that we've had from the guys in the tech support part of Oracle, first class, absolutely brilliant. And when we've had problems like on a weekend, then they come back to us. And I know when problems happen, I will get a telephone call, regardless of when it is or where it is. They're going to ring me. And if they ring me, then I need to know that I can turn to someone at Oracle almost 24/7 and say, guys, I'm going to need some help here. Everything's responded to really, really quick.
Great. And you got a comment, just so you know, that love your positive outlook and your mindset about failure and taking risks. So kudos to you on that. And, you know, so I think you've talked a lot about why you went with Oracle Field Service, but the question is, can you tell us who else you evaluated during your search? Who else you looked
Ooh,
at?
that would be a little bit nasty. Click Service Edge was one of them. There were a couple of others that I'm not allowed to mention because of NDAs, etc. There was it? I think it's some super user. I can't remember the other ones. But certainly between Click and Oracle, but Oracle, they won it. Simple as that. Yes, there are hundreds of providers out there, and there are many, many different cloud-based solutions. I like Oracle because we've learned it, we can use it, we interact with it, we've got great support, we've got great help, and we can learn so much about the business. And like you said at the top of the shop, our KPIs are legendary. To add 25% productivity, to strip our travel time out, so much, completely unheard of.
That's really awesome. You know, so what's next for Worcester Bosch? Where do you go from here?
We keep learning, we keep getting better. We're going into a winter period, and as you can imagine, in the heating and hot water industry, that's going to be tough. COVID is still around us. It's not gone away, and it's going to continue to be around with us, let's be honest, for a very long time. We want to automate more. We want to make the system slicker. We want to provide the guys in the field with the very best service and the guys in the office with a really interesting day. So with the upgrades that come, there's always new things to play with. 20C has shown us some really good stuff. We're deep into big data, deep into data analysis, and that can only continue because we've got such an easy platform to take the data out of. So we intend to get better and better and slicker and slicker.
All right. So that's awesome to hear. And I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad that you're thinking ahead for the future. Now, I'm going to ask one more question and then we're going to have to call it because we're running out of time. So the question is, how do you visualize Oracle as the, in quotations, the game changer?
It's ease of use. Ease of use. Okay. You can take any data you want out of Oracle and then process it yourself. The joy is it's so easy to get it out. Okay. You take that data out, you analyze it, you can feed back to Oracle, and it's like an iterative loop. A lovely idea of capacity categories. We see the demand coming in changing. We switch our capacity categories around so that we can meet that demand. Now, in time gone by, it was manual. Nah, automate it. Make it happen for itself. So the system can react to the external environment and make the incoming demand fit where we are.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Again, that's
yeah. So APIs definitely are one of the big game-changing things.
perfect. 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 Great way to end it. All right, Sven, thank you so much. And thank you so much to the audience for joining. Let's stay connected. You know, we'll keep you informed of some more community-based thought leadership. This has been an absolutely amazing conversation. If you'd like to follow up with us and learn more, please do not hesitate to reach out to Customer Spotlight Series _US at oracle.com, and we can help you get connected to the right team. Now, there's going to be a 1-question survey as we close this Zoom out. So please take a few seconds to give us your feedback, and please do tune in for our next Customer Spotlight. Sven, thank you again so much, and thank you everyone for joining. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolute pleasure, my friend. All the best.
You too. Thank you, sir.